Good morning. What's up, you guys? Welcome to my channel. This is Blue Butterfly Mystic. I'm Kate. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you are not, welcome back. Um, I have errands that I have to run today. And Spirit is urging me, urging me to get this. Are you serious? It's like everything is like trying to piss me off today. One thing or another. They're trying to get me off balance. Okay, it's all right. We're going to clear this energy. All right. So, first of all, sorry. Not sorry. My hair's wet. I just got out of the shower. This is so important, I suppose, that somebody needs to hear this, that I got stopped in the middle of my routine to give this message. So, with that being said, so with me being a reader, that does not mean that I don't listen to other readers. Okay. Um, most of the time, we listen to these readings and it's not something that we don't already know. It's confirmation, right? Um, Other times, there are things that we don't know that come out. Okay, right? And Spirit wants me to tell y'all about how I found out that my child was being hurt. And I found out through listening to tarot. Okay. Um, before I even get started on that, I have to pray, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna start with the Lord's Prayer. Okay. Whew. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the glory, the power, and the kingdom forever and ever. Amen. So mote it be. Thank you to the Most High. All right. I'm going to shuffle some crystals while we're getting started. I'm tingling all over right now, y'all. The guy. All right. Let me start by saying I was married. Okay. I got with my husband when I was 17. Unfortunately, we're still married, but that's not because I don't want to be unmarried. We've been separated for 6 years now. I just haven't had the money to hire a lawyer because we can't go no contest, right? No. Anyways, when I left him, I got with this idiot. And he was the complete opposite of my husband. But let me just tell you that pretty faces, they can fool you, okay? He was very, very handsome. He was very, very charming. And it took 8 months for him to show his true colors, all right? And he started using intimidation tactics to get me to do the things that he wanted me to do. And getting in my face, cornering me. And then it led to pushing. And then he started punching me, like hitting me, okay? Well, that led to full-blown blows between the two of us. And eventually I had had enough. The house that I was living in, my mother actually lives in now. And you can see a patch where he put my head through a wall. Okay. He choked me until I passed out. And when I came to, it's very much like Woodstock from Charlie Brown. It's like wop 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 wop, wop, and he's yelling at me, yelling at me, yelling at me. And as I'm coming out of it, I'm thinking, why am I going through this? Why am I allowing this to happen to me? Okay, my mom, she was also severely physically abused in her relationship after she left my stepdad, and they were together for 17 years. And I remember always thinking to myself, why is she doing this? Why is she letting herself deal with this guy? And it wasn't until I went through it myself that I could even grasp the the reasoning behind it, or like why. And so I left the entire state. I basically fled. Okay, I packed what I could inside of my vehicle, my personal belongings, and I left. I drove all the way from South Carolina um, to northeastern Ohio, and I had bruises all up and down me. I was scared to death, and so I started over there. I At first I had 3 jobs, and I was just trying to get enough money to get me and my children a place so that we could start over. All right. Well, I got this place in October. I left it at the end of June, right? Yay, happy birthday to me. Right at the end of June. My birthday is June 28th. Hello to my fellow Cancers if y'all are out there. But so I did not, I mean, I went on dates, but I wasn't really serious about anybody. And then I landed a job at a place called Trademark Global. It's in Lorain, Ohio. And it was a awesome job. I started in, um, oh my gosh, not cycle counting, inventory. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I walked a lot, but that was, the hardest part of the job. My feet hurt. So after being there for a while, they decided to merge me with the receiving team. And that's how I ended up meeting. I almost didn't say his name. Spear says, don't be afraid to say his name. His name was Justin. I met Justin. Okay. And the first time that he and I locked eyes, it was like I'd known him my entire life. It was the strangest thing that I've ever encountered. And once I did, it was like he was a yard dog driver, so he would bring the trailers in, and I would count them because I was on a specific project at work. And but the other yard dog driver was like, "Yo, Karen," because that's what they called me, Karen, at work, because I wore glasses and I had the little cute little granny string. And yo, Karen, my boy George over here wants to see your feet. And I was like, no, weird. Okay, I never had anybody say that to me before. And that was the beginning of our love story. Okay, because after that we had started talking, and he was funny, he was shy, he was and he was from the South, and he had principles that matched mine, and we fell in love, or so I thought. Whatever his version of love was, I don't, whatever. um Fast forward 2 years later, and his grandmother dies, and he was talking about coming down to go to her funeral, and I did not want him to come by himself. Number one, I would never want him to have to go through that alone. And number two, because of his history with drugs in his hometown, I did not want him to break his sobriety. So I was like, we're going together. So we come down, um, take care of the funeral, and on the way back up, we went to Florida. On the way back up, we stopped in South Carolina, and we did not have enough money to make it back to Ohio. Okay. At the time, I was the one that was working. I was a store manager at Dollar General, and I owned my home. I owned our vehicles, and well, with the exception of I had a title loan out on my minivan at the time, but we ended up staying in South Carolina with my mother for 8 months, and it was the most depressed I have ever been. The most depressed I've ever been. It was like that scene in Twilight where Bella is like sitting in the chair, and it's like the pages just go by month by month by month, and it was just like that. It was like everything around me was moving and I was sitting still. And eventually I got the courage to go to the doctor and to get a counselor and talk to somebody. Okay, and that's how I started learning about cognitive behavioral therapy. I love psychology. I find it fascinating how the human mind works, how human behavior is. But I basically became my own therapist. Okay, now up until this point, Justin and I literally had 2 fights in 2 years. Okay, he was the love of my life. I was like, he and I are meant to be together forever. This is my twin flame. Blah 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 blah. Blah. All right, and if y'all hear that, it sounds like it's like this message is like anything and everything to get this out, or to keep it from getting out. Right. All right. So at my mother's, this is where the argument started, which I was thinking, okay, his grandmother just died. I just got a notification. Oh my gosh, they're all coming in. Um, we were in an uncomfortable situation. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if we can just make it until tax season, we can get out of here and things will start, looking up and all of this madness will stop, right? So we move out, move into this place, and we are able to go to Ohio and get our things and sell my home. Okay. And I'm thinking, yes, yes, now it'll stop. Now, we'll be able to be peaceful and be a family. And I'm going to use this money from selling my home, and I'm going to make a life for us down here, and everything's going to be fine. Except it wasn't. And I did not understand why this man who I've been with was just acting completely out of character, just completely not himself. And when I finally gave in to meditation, which I had been called to do for a long time, um, it was like I opened up the channels. It was like the floodgates opened. Okay. And I kept getting these cards: deception, trickery, Seven of Swords. And I could not figure out what the hell was going on. And I kept asking him, like, if there's somebody else, like, please tell me, because I would rather you just go be with somebody else than to lie to me about it. Because if you don't want me, bro, just like go. But I was not going to be forced out of my home. Okay, I have started over so many times and have left entire houses full of furniture and left with just a toothbrush, some diapers, my baby's cups, or the bare minimum, and left furniture and like whole houses full of shit. Okay, and it wasn't happening this time. I paid for that house, like where we went to, and so there was a day where I was I was doing something in my bathroom, which is where my altar was at the time. And I remember him coming inside and being like, "Catherine, come outside and help me with something." And so I did. And I walked out there, and I remember my hand itching, 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 itching. And when I finally realized that I was like scratching the hell out of it, I looked down and I was like, this tattoo is healed. Why is it so itchy? And I was like, it's my planchet. And then I heard, go to your board. I have a spirit board. Okay. Um, I've never, up until that point, I'd never used one alone. And a lot of rules say not to. But I know, I know within my inner that it was a message from spirit, and that if I was being called to do it, that meant that there was something that I needed to hear that he wasn't supposed to hear. And so I was like, I got to go inside. I got to use the bathroom. Okay. So I lit a candle. I opened up my board. Only beings of my highest good are allowed to come through this board to relay a message to me that I need to hear. Kind of got to like lay your duck down with the spirit boards, because otherwise, if you're scared, if you are not protected, if you are, and what I mean by that is like, you don't pray, you don't, um, basically, if you're not taking it seriously, everything and anything can come through there. Okay. You don't mess with things like that and not respect them. Okay. Um, Long story short, I had a extremely old spirit come through, and the message was, watch Grace. Okay. Grace is my daughter. And at the time, she was with my mother, who was an hour away. And I was like, oh my God, I got to call my mom. So I called my mom and I was like, let me talk to Gracie right now. And so, hello, mommy? And I was like, are you okay, sissy? And she was like, yeah, what's wrong? And I was like, I just needed to call and check on you. So as I'm on the phone with her, Justin comes in and he's like, Catherine, come here. I got to show you something. And I was like, I'll be there in a second. And so I was like, all right, baby. Well, if you need anything, you make sure you call me, okay? And she was like, okay, I love you. Get off the phone. And then I go outside and he is on the back porch with a dragonfly on his finger. He was like, I saved it from the pool. I had bought us a pool because we live in the South. And let me tell you, if I'm going to be spending any time outside, I better have a body of water to get in and cool off, okay? Because me and heat do not like each other. Um, he said he saved it for the pool. He was like, it won't come off my finger. And so I don't even like bugs, period. I don't want them touching me. I don't want them around me. No spiders, no flies, no mosquitoes, no dragonflies, no ladybugs. I don't care what the hell it is. If it's crawling, I don't want it on me. What am I thinking? I put my finger up next to his and that motherfucker crawls right onto me. And he was sitting there trying to like, all right. You feel my anxiety like. So I don't remember for what reason, but he leaves me outside with this dragonfly. Okay. And so I sit down with it, and all of a sudden it starts occurring to me that there's a bug on me. And he had bought me a potted rose for Valentine's Day several months before that I just started taking care of. I just started learning how to take care of plants in general because he was working for a construction company and was able to, plants that they were throwing away, they let him have. And so he brought home rose bushes and these little, all kinds of shit. That's besides the point. Anyways, so I try to like get this dragonfly off my finger onto this potted rose. And I sit there and I'm like, well, you're a messenger of sorts. So what is it that you're here to tell me? And so it occurred to me to grab my phone and start doing some research. Well, I had Googled what gods or goddesses resonate with dragonflies. And I'm reading this article and I'm reading this article. Now, this is how funny spirit is, okay? I'm reading and I'm reading, and somehow I had skipped an entire paragraph, and my screen went from here and scrolled all the way up and stopped at a certain paragraph that I had missed. And it was talking about the goddess Freya, which now it is occurring to me that I'm literally wearing her necklace right now, the amulet. Um, so as soon as, and I'm reading out loud to the dragonfly, and as soon as I read that, the dragonfly that I thought was going to die because it would not fly lifts off, like literally takes off of my rose. And I was like, that was so amazing. It was one of the most profound spiritual moments, that one of them that I have experienced. And when I went to go tell him about it, he could give a shit less about it. But it was not long, a week or so after that, two of my regular readers that I listen to, the Butterfly Goddess and Chiron Intuition, and I still listen to both of them. And if y'all resonate with me, then you might resonate with them. You should go check their pages out. Um, but twice in the same night did I hear something about a child being hurt, or a child being um, used in a sexual way, or something of that nature. And I was like, no, no, it can't be. This cannot, no. And then my mind starts racing, and I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to think back, because as a survivor of several sexual assaults myself, I am extremely vigilant when it comes to my children. Okay, like a freaking hawk. All right. And so I just kind of like lock those things in the back of my mind, everything, all the messages that I'm getting. Okay. And there comes a night where he and I are arguing, and he's doing the cat and mouse thing, like trying to not let me out of my room. I was like, let me out so that I can smoke a cigarette. And he gets in my face and he's like, what are you going to do about it, Catherine? And I was like, that's cool. That's fine. So I sit down on my bed and I light it, and he flicks. And all that I have left between my fingers is the filter. And he picks that lit cigarette part with just the tobacco in it up off the floor, and he hits it and he blows it in my face. He goes, what you going to do about it, Catherine? And I was like, all right. I was like, I'm not letting you bother me. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not doing this. You're not going to control me, and you're not going to control my emotions. And so he ends up going into the bathroom, and I finally get up and I step out onto the back porch, trying to breathe, trying to center. And he comes out there, he kisses me on my cheek, and he goes, love you anyway. Like this psychotic bastard. Right? I am having some serious deja vu right now. I'm talking about serious deja vu. Wow, y'all, wow. Um, so very shortly after that, I decided, I was like, you know what, this is the same kind of behavior that I've been trying to get away from my entire life, and I'm not putting up with it. I don't care how much I love you. Because if it was about love, we'd be able to fix it, but it's not. Relationships aren't just about love. They're about loyalty and respect and communication and trust, and none of those things were present. And it didn't matter how much I tried to talk, how many methods or different ways or research on, myself, or, I took personality tests. I took, trying to find out what it was that I could do to help fix our relationship, and it just wasn't happening. So I tell my daughter one morning, I was like, you know what, Gracie, I've had enough. And she was like, well, I'm mad at him. And I was like, why? She was like, I heard you guys last night. I heard him break your things. And I was like, you know what? Now I've really had enough, because my children are being affected by this. Because he and I did not argue in front of the kids. We would always, wait until after they went to bed, because I just, no. Children do not need to deal with adult problems. They just don't. They deserve to be kids as long as they can. There's enough things out in the world that are chaotic and hurtful and tumultuous, that they don't need it inside the home where they reside. Right? All right. So I was like, well, we don't need any kind of, abusive situations going on. And so mommy is going to tell him when he gets home that we're going to have to figure out something else. We're done. I'm done. we're done. We're done. You're done. Um, so with that being said, I said, we don't need anybody else hurting anymore. And she makes this face. And it was a face that I recognized. And I was like, baby, did he hurt you? And then she continues like with the silence. And I already could tell by the face that she was making that something had happened. And remembering that I had seen these readings, I start panicking. And I was like, baby, did he hit you? Did he hurt you? She was like, and so long story short, she told me that he had touched her, he had made her touch him, and that there was a couple other pieces of information that she had given me that I'm not willing to go into right now because I'm already slightly triggered just by talking about this. But the point of this is that sometimes there's things that we know, there's things that we know we don't know, and then there's things that we don't know we know. Okay. And like there's a lot of readings that are out there that are just for confirmation, and this might be your confirmation. Okay. If you are having a feeling, your intuition is telling you, I don't know about this, it can't be, but your spirit's like, it keeps like ringing in your head. There are other times when you hear a reading and it's telling you something that you didn't know you knew. Okay, I didn't know that I knew. Even if I had strange feelings, like when they would sit on the couch together or when she would sit on his lap, even if I had a strange feeling, I would urge it away because I didn't know how to trust my intuition yet. I didn't even know that I had intuition yet. And I guess it hurt me so badly because after everything that I'd been through in my life, through the emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, and I was like, this is never going to happen to my child. This is never going to happen to any of my children. And then it did. And I could not understand why did this happen? How did this happen? And I blamed myself so much. But here's the thing about abusers is that they make time. They make time to do things. Okay. Whether it's during a ride to the grocery store, while you're gone to the grocery store, whether it's while you're at work, whether it's at night while you're sleeping, what does not matter. They make time. Okay. I'm going to end this with a couple of verses that called to me. First, I'm going to go over this crystal that I pulled earlier. It is apophyllite, and it says it acts like a teleportation device to places transcendent, often sourced from enchanted India, birthplace of Tantra yoga and Nag Champa. Apophyllite clears skepticism, cynicism, and logic from the spiritual path. Who needs it? Anyone looking for that ray of light from on high to hit them with something good. Where to put it? Wherever you practice religion, meditate, channel, or pray. When to use it? When the spiritual life feels like a moving target. When you feel skeptical about your true purpose on earth. When you feel like your yeah, but thoughts are dishonoring the innermost you. And at the bottom it says, beam yourself up, way up. Apophyllite. Okay. So I have written down Isaiah 54:17. It says, no weapon forged against you shall prosper. Okay. No weapon forged against you shall prosper. That means that it does not matter how hard the enemy tries. They will not win. They will not win so long as you are vigilant, so long as you have faith within yourself, have faith within God, because let me tell you, those are the same things. Okay. Scripture tells us that releasing energy, excuse me. We are all one. That is the universal law of oneness. If we are one with God, that means that God resides within us. That makes us one. And so having faith in God and not having faith in yourself is a dishonor to God. Having faith in yourself and not having faith in God is a dishonor to God. Okay. I'm hearing Mulan. Dishonor in your family, dishonor on your cow, dishonor, just dishonor. And then I want to go to Psalm 91:11. It says, "For he will command his angels concerning you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." Okay. And this talks about God protecting us from hurt, protecting us from pain. And there are certain things that God allows to happen, but that is so that we learn. It is a part of our path, things that we must go through to become the people that we are meant to be. Because without those lessons, we don't progress and we don't learn certain things, and we are unable to get to our highest path. All right. And the last one is Psalms 91:3-4. It says, "Surely he will save you from the fowler's snare and the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart." And rampart is a wall of defense. Okay. The Not the first bond hearing I went to, but one of them, it was like the second or third bond hearing, because he kept trying to get out, get out, get out. Um, and I remember walking into that courtroom and sitting down with my friend, and all of a sudden in my mind's eye, I saw feathers everywhere. And this was before I started integrating my lifelong Christian beliefs back into my spirituality. And my friend, he is a theologist. He walks very firmly in his Christian faith. And he was like, "That sounds like Psalms 91." And he brought it up. And I've held on very tightly to that. I love Psalms. But you are covered. You are covered by the feathers and wings, and you will find refuge. Give your worries to God. Pray. Pray, pray, pray. When you pray, when you meditate, you're touching God. God is with you. God is always with you. But when you pray and when you meditate, it is opening a channel to allow you to speak. It's like having a telephone, okay? You'll be able to hear your inner wisdom. All right. I'm going to leave this here, 333 on the timer, y'all. Divine intervention, divine guidance, the Holy Trinity. Oh my goodness, mind, body, soul, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Mother, Maiden, Crone, all of it. It's all, ooh, I'm tingling. I got to go because I got things that I got to do. I hope that this message helps somebody, that it resonated in some kind of way. I hope that by me sharing my story, that it will help lift somebody up, because you know what? My daughter, she doesn't look like what she's been through. They are happy. You can hear them playing. They're happy. They are loved. They are fed. They are warm. They are, they're great, because we are thriving now. Okay. I just want to be a beacon of light to somebody. I don't ever want anybody to feel the things that I have felt, or to go through the things that I have went through. And if I can help just one person out there, then I've served my purpose. Okay. I love you all so much. If you like this content, please drop me a like. I appreciate it so much. Share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.